That's why I call my thing the marathon, because I'm not gonna lie and portray this ultimate poise like I've had it figured out. Nah, I just didn't quit. That's the only distinguishing quality. I went through every emotion with trying to pursue what I'm doing. You know what I mean? And I think that what gonna separate whoever's gonna try to go for something is that you ain't gonna quit.
All the streets these rappers grew up in, the same places that made them turned into their worst nightmare.
They was gonna get him. I just knew they was gonna get him. Cause the boy worked hard to get got. Now the other nigga worked hard to get shot on. Man, they shot his foot off last year, getting that pilot nub. Man, that nigga supposed to nigga got his foot shot off, ain't supposed to be bouncing around on his birthday. Man, get somewhere and sit down and rest that foot and work your hips, nigga. Nigga supposed to be fucking. And then I'm thinking, at the holiday end.
Y'all, the streets these rappers grew up in, the same places that made them turned into their worst nightmare. Imagine making it out, getting fame, wealth, and success, only to have it all taken away in the very city that raised you. The shocking part? Most of them never even saw it coming. Today, we're diving deep into the tragic stories of rappers who were killed in their own hometowns. Buckle up, because this one's going to be a wild ride. They say there's no place like home, but for rappers, home can be the most dangerous place to be. When you blow up in your own city, you don't just gain fans, you gain enemies. Whether it's jealousy, gang ties, or straight-up betrayal, too many rappers have lost their lives in the same streets they once called home. And trust me, some of these cases will send chills down your spine. Let's start with one of the most heartbreaking losses in hip-hop history. When we talk about rappers who were trying to uplift their communities, Nipsey Hussle's name is at the top of that list. A visionary, an entrepreneur, and a man who truly wanted to bring change to South Central LA. But in a cruel twist of fate, the same neighborhood he loved so much became his final resting place. On March 31st, 2019, Nipsey was outside his Marathon clothing store, an establishment he built to provide jobs for people in his community, when he was gunned down. And the most disturbing part? The man who pulled the trigger, Eric Holder, was from the same gang as Nipsey, a rolling 60s Crip just like him. There were whispers that Nipsey had warned Eric about some rumors going around, rumors that he might be a snitch. And in the twisted world of street politics, that's all it took for Eric to snap. He returned to the parking lot with a gun and shot Nipsey 11 times, right there in broad daylight. His death sent shockwaves through the industry. Even behind bars, Eric Holder wasn't safe. He was attacked so brutally in jail that he couldn't even make it to court. Eventually, in February 2023, he was sentenced to 60 years in prison. But let's be real, was it all worth it? Eric lost his freedom. 2 of his cousins were killed in retaliation, and his teenage brother took his own life because of the backlash. Meanwhile, Nipsey's community was left shattered. Businesses struggled, kids lost a role model, and the Marathon store that once symbolized hope, it closed its doors. And if you think Nipsey's case is tragic, wait till you hear about Julio Fulio. Some rappers seem to know their fate before it even happens. And if anyone lived on borrowed time, it was Julio Fulio. The Jacksonville drill rapper had beef with almost everyone. He dissed dead ops in his songs, taunted enemies on social media, and was constantly dodging bullets. Literally. In June 2024, he decided to celebrate his 26th birthday. But instead of laying low, Fulio did the complete opposite. He hosted a public pool party, shared the address on social media, and even posted videos of himself turning up. And just like that, he put a target on his own back. Hours later, as he was heading back to his hotel, gunmen pulled up and opened fire. Fulio was hit multiple times and declared dead at the scene. And here's the eerie part. His enemies wasted no time celebrating. One of his biggest rivals, Young Ace, dropped a diss track the same day, hinting that he had something to do with the hit. The streets never forget, and in Fulio's case, they made sure he didn't see 27. Unlike the others, XXXTentacion wasn't gunned down over beef. His murder was pure greed. A young superstar, just 20 years old, at the peak of his career, gone in an instant. On June 18th, 2018, X was shopping for a motorcycle in Deerfield Beach, Florida, when he was ambushed by 4 men. They saw him withdraw $50,000 from a bank earlier that day, followed him to the store, and blocked his car in the parking lot. What was supposed to be a robbery quickly turned into an execution. In a chilling moment caught on security cameras, one of the men pointed a gun at X, demanding his bag of cash. And even though he didn't fight back, they shot him anyway. Just like that, the music world lost one of its most unique voices. But here's where it gets even crazier. His killers couldn't keep their mouths shut. They went on social media, flashing the stolen money, taking pictures with it, bragging about what they had done. It didn't take long for the police to catch them. All 4 men were sentenced to life in prison, and one of them, Robert Allen, took a plea deal, spilling every detail of the crime. To this day, fans still wonder, what if X had security that day? What if he had just stayed home? But in the end, he was another young rapper whose success made him a target. And speaking of targets, let's talk about a rapper whose death was practically predicted in an Eminem music video. If you've ever seen Eminem's Like Toy Soldiers music video, you probably remember the heart-wrenching scene where a rapper gets shot and dies in the hospital. What makes it chilling? That rapper was based on Proof, Eminem's best friend, and just a year later, life imitated art. On April 11, 2006, Proof was at a Detroit club when an argument over a pool game spiraled out of control. He got into a fight with another man, Mario Etheridge, who was the cousin of a bouncer at the club. Gunshots were fired and Proof was hit multiple times. The fatal shot struck him in the head, killing him instantly. Eminem was devastated. Proof wasn't just a friend, he was family. He was the glue that held D12 together, the one who believed in M before the fame. His death shattered the group, and Detroit's rap scene was never the same. The saddest part? Proof was killed over something as trivial as a game of pool. But if you think this was the most senseless killing, wait until you hear about Slim Duncan. Yes, you read that right. A fight over a candy bar led to the death of Slim Duncan, one of Atlanta's rising stars. It all went down in December 2011. Slim was in the studio, preparing for a music video shoot, when he got into an argument with fellow rapper Young Vito. And what sparked the fight? A piece of candy. Things escalated quickly, words turned into punches, and before anyone knew it, a gun was drawn. Vito shot Slim in the chest, and despite efforts to save him, he didn't make it. A promising career, cut short over something so ridiculous, it's hard to even wrap your head around. Young Vito was later convicted of aggravated assault and sentenced to 25 years in prison. But let's be real, no sentence could bring Slim back. Now, while some of these murders were the result of personal disputes, others were about something even darker: gang politics. And when you talk about gang-related deaths in hip-hop, one name always comes up. Young Dolph was a self-made king, a Memphis legend who turned down major label deals to stay independent and put his city on the map. But staying in Memphis also put him in danger. On November 17th, 2021, Dolph was doing something as simple as picking up cookies from Makita's, a local bakery he loved to support. Suddenly, 2 masked gunmen pulled up and opened fire. He was shot 22 times. Just like that, Memphis lost one of its most beloved artists. The aftermath was pure chaos. Streets were on lockdown. Rumors flew about who set him up. Then, in January 2022, police arrested Tennessee rapper Justin Johnson, aka Straight Drop, along with his accomplice Cornelius Smith. But that wasn't the most shocking part. During the trial, it was revealed that Yo Gotti's brother, Big Jook, allegedly put a $100,000 hit on Dolph's head. The feud between CMG and Paper Route Empire had been simmering for years, but nobody thought it would end like this. To this day, people still debate whether justice was really served. And Dolph wasn't the only Memphis rapper to fall victim to the streets. Because just a few years earlier, another icon in the making met the same fate. Big L wasn't just a rapper, he was a lyrical mastermind. A pioneer of punchline rap, he had the kind of talent that made even Jay-Z take notice. But just when he was on the verge of superstardom, his life was stolen from him. On February 15, 1999, Big L was shot 9 times in Harlem. The killer? Allegedly a childhood friend named Gerard Woodley. The motive? A beef with Big L's older brother who was in prison at the time. Instead of waiting for him to get out, Woodley decided to take out L instead. What makes this even wilder? Woodley was never convicted. He was arrested but released due to lack of evidence. And in a strange twist of fate, he himself was gunned down in 2016, just a few blocks away from where L was killed. Even today, Big L's murder remains one of hip-hop's greatest what-ifs. What if he had lived? What if he had signed with Rockefeller? Would he be up there with Jay-Z and Nas right now? We'll never know. From Nipsey to X, from Dolph to Big L, the pattern is painfully clear. Rappers getting taken out in their own cities. The places that should be celebrating them are the same places that bury them. And if there's one thing we've learned from all these stories, it's that fame doesn't make you untouchable. In fact, it makes you a bigger target. So, what's the solution? Move away? Get more security? Or is the problem deeper than that? Something rooted in the very culture that birthed these artists? That's a conversation for another day. But one thing's for sure, as long as jealousy, street politics, and senseless violence exist, the cycle will continue. And that's the real tragedy. And that's it for today's video. If you made it this far, drop a comment below with your thoughts. Which story shocked you the most? And who do you think could have been saved? Let's talk about it. And as always, stay safe, stay smart, and I'll see you in the next one.